Okay, well, I'm going to spend a little time on the other side of this desk, and not my norm, but currently there's a class going out here. I don't think it would be just a pure fluke if there were.
There's a class out there?
No, this class is on Zoom
Oh.
from the computer camera, so you are anonymous voices.
Okay.
Sounds good. I'm fine with that.
And okay, so Chris, yes?
Yeah.
And Erica
Correct.
and
Josie.
Josie.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm just bad with names. I brought name tags, but I think with only 4 of us, that would be an admission of failure. Not that I'm above that, but
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So, anywho, we did kind of an intro thing last week, and I did speak with, I spoke with Kat, and she said she was coming, so, and maybe bringing a friend, so.
They might think it's 3:30.
Remains to be seen. We'll see. Thank you.
Hopefully they don't.
Or they, and
Right.
so we'll just kind of, there's so much material. I'll just start talking. And so I have some more handouts today. And they help me organize what I plan to cover. But it's essential, pardon my lies once again, it's essential in, of course, the term is Kabbalistic ceremonial magic, or ceremonial white magic. And because Josie wasn't here, and it's always just a little bit of repetition's okay. Pardon me, there, I put that. Of course, Kabbalah, with a K, is Hebrew mysticism. That probably goes back to maybe pre-900s, but the story I got is at the time of the Moors, about 900 or so, Fez, Morocco was a very kind of a center of learning. There was schools there and universities there. And it was, of course, early Muslim, but there was a time in those centuries, I guess before the Moors pushed up into Iberian Peninsula to Spain and Portugal, where it was relatively secular. And there were a lot of Hebrew people there, there were Christians there, there wasn't any restrictions about who could be there and who could go to the university and stuff. And so there was a Hebrew community in Fez, Morocco around 900s. And the theory is that's where the different writings, the Sefer Yetzirah and the whole kind of Kabbalah kind of system was put together, hypothetically. And certainly it's not academic, not the academic perspective, but there's also an idea that that's where kind of tarot was put together too. And one thing we're going to be kind of touching on today, but as we go on, the modern system of tarot is very linked to the Kabbalah. And the idea of the 4 suits being the 4 elements, fire, air, earth, and water. There's 22 major trumps in the tarot that correspond to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, that also correspond to the 22 paths on the Tree of Life, which are all these lines between these spheres. So I did a quick little Tree of Life there. And so a lot of Kabbalah is about the Tree of Life, and the Tree of Life is a system a map, if you will, what's been called the pattern on the trestle board or whatever, but it's like a map of the unseen realms, what is beyond 3D, what is beyond physical matter stuck in time, beyond our mundane earth kind of consciousness, whatever. It's a map of everything else. And so the idea is that in kind of maybe the 1300s, when kind of the Renaissance kind of started in like Italy, and kind of occult work was going on in like Bohemia and Czechoslovakia, and that a bunch of alchemists were changing, of course, lead into gold, or base matter into gold, hypothetically, came up with this idea, and that's where we get the Kabbalah with a Q, and not a U, just Q, Q-A-B. And so Kabbalah with a K is traditional Hebrew mysticism. Kabbalah with a Q is sort of a secularized version, where it was borrowed, culturally appropriated from the Hebrew religion for the alchemists and astrologers, and it became Kabbalah with a Q. And so this map of the unseen, which, as we're going to find out, is associated with various Judeo-Christian names for God, names for different parts of the heavens, and archangels and angels and seraphim, all these kind of spiritual traditions that are now seen as Judeo-Christian are kind of on the Kabbalah, on this map of the unseen. And the map of the unseen, the tree, is showing us where these different levels are, who's in charge of them, where they dwell, and these different vibrations, if you will. Okay. So, hence, its kind of connection to just this idea of magic is, well, if whether you're Wiccan or Hindu practitioner of working with spirits or changes in matter, material things, magical things, in order to do any of that stuff, we have to have, obviously, and anybody, if you have any experience with tarot or any kind of divination, kind of also fits in here, that it's about a perspective on what's beyond the veil, a perspective, being able to kind of navigate these astral spiritual realms. So in order to navigate them, we have a map. And so what we're going to do is sort of learn about this map, and then with the prescribed kind of what is called in this work kind of temple construction, or what might be termed in more witchcraft or Wicca as creating a circle for protection and focus. We do ceremony or ritual to go into different places in the unseen. And so that's kind of very general about it. And so what I'd like to start with today is beginning to describe this map of the unseen. And to that end, I have handouts. So whoever, these are, oh well, they're dated. These are handouts from 30 years ago.
Still relevant, still relevant.
It's still, yeah.
Time travel.
Yeah, well, because now we're going to go back with information that's, 1,000 years old.
There you
go. And I'm also going to hand out blank ones that you can take home for homework. Copy them too, or whatever. It'd be great to do the law. Now, I'm showing you what that's about. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
I am so sorry.
Oh. No reason. Sorry. We're just chatting so far. But you're new.
Yeah.
And your name?
Cat.
Cat? Oh, what?
Monday worker.
Oh, we had a different cat here last week. And, oh, well, that's
Is there a
fine.
cat with a C or a K?
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll give you some of my, I think I have handouts from the couple that were handed out last week. And one that's, is this the messy one? Oh, shoot.
Ooh. Tree of life. I love such
I think you get the messy one,
That's okay.
because, anyway.
Messy is still functional sometimes.
It's
so we're good.
This is the proper attitude towards the mind body. That is from Israeli Regarde, and that's sort of the warning on the package.
Okay.
And
enough.
it says, don't let magic drive you crazy.
That is very
Good advice. And this is the middle pillar exercise, which I will be
Okay.
demonstrating today, and that's the handout so you can try it at home.
Perfect.
And this is what we're covering today, and that's for doing homework.
Oh yay! I'll add that to the multiple ones I have at home.
All right. And so, yeah.
My husband's just parking.
Oh, he's coming too?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you'll have to share that one of those.
It's okay, I will.
I think that was my last one for now. So, let's do that. And, and more handouts. Oh, I'm so organized to some extent. Because 1, 2, 3, let's do that one right away.
I want to break around.
Here's for you and partner.
Ah.
That's why I'm here. Just kidding.
And this is some of the stuff we're going to be covering today. And I'll repeat myself. Doesn't hurt. So we're going to learn about how to navigate the unseen realms, unseen world. So of course, how do you see the unseen? Well, you close your eyes and you look for it inside. So that's what we're going to learn to do too. And we did the middle pillar there last week, and we'll do it again this week. And it is a meditation for raising your consciousness. It's not a meditation for relaxing and going to sleep. It's a meditation because it's more energizing. I think I forgot to mention last week that it has been referred to as Western yoga, or kind of Kundalini. And if kind of after a little bit of practice and luck with the middle pillar exercise, it can be very much like a Kundalini kind of experience, like a rush up the spine, like, well, I don't know if I want to. It's like too much MDA. It's 1977.
All right.
Whoa, I'm sitting up straight now. So very much a part of the magical work and having a temple. So, and then I also mentioned the Kabbalistic cross, and I'll do that again because, and then we'll get into some basics about this tree of life. So the Kabbalistic cross is very much like the Catholic and Anglican sign of the cross, but it's not. And what it is I got the little blurb there, so I'll just demonstrate that. It's used as punctuation in ceremony. Before you start, when you end a statement, when you kind of get into the next thing, like commas and exclamation marks and stuff. And what it is it's when we look at this tree of life, there's the magical perspective is we back into it. Because it is sort of, it's a chakra system. But as you probably recognize, the Hindu, if you have a background or know about that, the Hindu chakra system, I think is 7 major spheres that run from the top of the head to the feet. Here we have 10 spheres, but if we kind of put one at each of these kind of junctions, because we don't have spheres just at the middle, or what we'll now call the middle pillar, that's the middle pillar exercise as a meditation, we have the left and the right, which is funny because I think is that a little subtle blind? I don't know, because we're supposed to be backing into it. So what is called traditionally the left-hand path is actually on your right, backing into it, chakras. Also, if we look at that, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those intersections of these, what we would call the paths between the spheres, the Sephiroth, if those were also chakras, then there's our 7 chakras. So it does kind of match up. And if I back into it, and that's kind of another thing, the Kabbalah with a C is Christian, didn't mention that, so K, Hebrew, C, Christian, Q, anything goes. Any pantheon goes. A lot of this work from the Golden Dawn and other kind of occult groups. A lot of focus was on, when we were using Hebrew language, we're using Enochian language, which is cool, and Latin and Greek. And so, but Enochian is, in this stuff, is called, it's said to be the language of angels, the angelic language. And it comes from approximately 1585. And the story goes, there's this gentleman named John Dee. And John Dee was a court astrologer and alchemist for Queen Elizabeth I. And he was it's also said that he was like a spy too. Because he would be, the Queen would have him all, he'd be asked to other courts in Europe. Go to the Bohemian court. They wanted, the alchemists want to talk to you about where they're at with their gold making or what have you. And he'd also be kind of snooping around and sending, who knows, messages back by pigeons or something. about how many troops were at the castle and what was going on, and people were happy or people were starving, or kind of give her the inside poop about what's going on in the other courts of Europe while he's being an astrologer and alchemist.
Like remote viewing, but with pigeons.
Except, yeah. Telepathic. Just kind of parentheses. I think about, I read it somewhere recently, and there's pigeons all over the freaking world, right? But it was only like 100 years ago, they were all pets and messengers and had this practical purpose. And people were having their pigeons and their neighborhood pigeon guy, and can you get me a message to so-and-so in this town, and blah, blah, blah. And now hardly anybody does that anymore. So they're just like on their own.
Right?
Hello.
Poor guys.
Skylar went to the washroom and locked the door.
Yeah, so we're just standing down there. Yeah. We were gonna hit lost iPhone for you, so it started ringing your phone. So.
Oh, that wouldn't have worked. I turned it off.
I know.
Oh, off.
Oh, I'm not gonna run.
Okay.
Is he gonna? You gonna find it? Here, do you know what?
No, I consider.
No. This one is this
You're just
this
gonna move the camera?
object does not need that seat. So pigeons. Poor guys. Their usefulness. They lost their career.
It was pretty fun, actually, thinking about all the ways we were going to try and get a hold of you guys back here out there, but...
Oh, I guess you could have phoned me.
I did. I tried.
You did.
Yeah.
That
didn't work
Didn't it
either.
work?
Yeah.
All right. It's Kevin.
See, now I feel bad. Now I don't feel as bad that I was told 3:30 instead.
Yeah.
My brain told me 3:30. I had
Yeah,
3
everybody
perfectly
went
on my
online.
calendar.
Is your jacket? Can we? Who's,
Or Joe, do you
oh,
or do you want to do
man, wait. Should we put it here?
No, put it
Put it down. Okay. All right. Hi. Oh, I. Cat.
Yeah.
No, this is Cat. This is Cat.
Oh, hi.
But you're with a K.
Yeah.
And she's with a C.
Yeah.
All right. And
Tie.
I.
Yeah.
Okay. I got some new handouts, but we'll get to that. So, yeah, seeing the unseen. So obviously, part of this is, the whole class is doing this middle pillar and meditation, because it's important to try to develop for yourself ways to kind of perceive energies to perceive things in the unseen realms. So literally they're unseen. So what we're trying to do is develop our own kind of imagination to be able to be involved with what's going on in the unseen realms. And you have to kind of... So now I know for some people, I guess I was really surprised, like just a couple decades ago when I started talking, well, I don't see things. Well, I can't visualize things. And I thought, what? So even if you have trouble with that, I'm in here because I've been a card reader for almost 50 years. And when I first started with that, I was reading some little book by Zohar or something. And it was like, as a kid, and it was like, oh, well, you close your eyes and you put like a movie screen or a TV screen in your head and just kind of see what comes on it or what you can see. And so I've been trying to practicing these sort of things for a long time. So, but ideally, if you just keep at it, you will get to the point where you're able to perceive energies anyway, whether that's colors or sounds but hypothetically, where this is going to take you eventually is to where you can sit down and with the proper kind of temple or circle around you for protection, and with the proper intent, and which is why we have the tree of life, because we're going to say, okay, today we're meditating on this sphere, this Sephiroth, and it's associated with the planet Mercury, and it's associated with the color orange, and it's associated with, its name is Had, and there's this angel named Ezekiel that lives there, and there's this, and this is, so you get all this information about your intention, about where you want to take your consciousness in the meditation, in the circle, in the temple, and you go there. And then we learn this for a while. Last time I was doing this like with a group publicly, it was in the context of a tarot class, tarot level 2 class. Because this is all associated with the tarot. And so what we would do is do these meditations, and hypothetically, we're learning the tarot from the tarot. And we're so that image, this color, this sound, this angelic name, this God name, and you get all these kind of things to help you focus on exactly, so you know where you're going. We're not just kind of lying down to meditate and going wherever. We're doing that in a protected space, in an energized space, and you're taking yourself where you want to be, where you want to learn something. Now, once we get going with that, of course, the top of the tree is divine light, is divine energy, is source energy. And you don't have much trouble down there, up there. And we're going to do that with the Kabbalistic cross in a minute. But way down here on Malkuth, it's called Malkuth, the bottom sphere is, the bottom sphere is 3D matter stuck in time. It's like where we are right now. So, but still, there's the whole, what's just behind this? And that's where we can get into some booky stuff. Because of course, which I really didn't think about last week, 2 weeks ago, is here we are in a downtown Victoria old brick building. Like what across the street is Murder Alley, Fantan Alley. And kind of 5 blocks away is where they had public hangings for entertainment for the community at Bastion Square with public hangings. So, so when you're kind of on these sort of levels, it behooves us to be careful about protection, but not everything scary is from outside. Some stuff scary from inside. And which I had a problem with it, but eventually over the years I've sort of softened to the modern term shadow work. Because when you're down here, we have the 3D material world, and then the next one up, like sphere, this is sphere 10, sphere 9, and sphere 9 is the astral realm. So, and of course the astral realm is filled of kind of freaking everything on the astral realm. And so everything in the material world has sort of an astral realm counterpart that is projecting itself into the material realm. But it's also full of, this is the same realm, the astral realm, number 9, which is where we get to have our dreams at night, and where there's thought forms, some weird thought I had. And so when we're part of kind of raising our consciousness to the heart chakra or beyond the Godhead, into the Godhead, part of having those experiences, those enlightening or exalting experiences, is kind of getting the consciousness beyond the poop. And so that's kind of why that warning kind of sheet is about. It's like you don't want to get stuck there.
Can I grab the sheet? Did you hand stuff out, or is that from last time?
Oh, here's another one. There's this one. This one.
I ran out the door and I didn't bring from last time. So
I didn't get
All
one
that.
either, but you can get one
Oh,
later
okay.
if I need to share.
Yeah, we can share the rest of it.
Well,
is it just the 3?
there's 3 new ones. Oh no, there's the one more.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I wasn't in that big a flow.
Yeah.
You wanted to tie there back there.
No.
Is Sharon there?
Oh, no, it's okay. We got it.
Are we doing stuff with these ones? Are we writing things in this?
Yeah, well, you take it over to write, or you can write on it today.
Okay,
you
so
know?
then I guess you guys.
Oh, we got
both need
like
one.
30
I
of them.
have tons of them.
Oh.
I'm also
Okay,
in
there
a
you go.
tarot class and we're learning about the
Okay.
color for that, so I
Okay,
have one
okay.
for each separate anyway.
All right. So, how exciting. Anyway. So what I want to get into now is that one sheet, which is the basics about the Kabbalah. And I did this 2 weeks ago, last class, but the Kabbalistic cross. I want to demonstrate it and maybe get everybody to try. Oh, I hope I don't do that. So what it is, as I was saying, the Kabbalistic cross is similar to the Catholic Anglican cross, but it's Ate, these are Hebrew words. They're not God names, they're just the words for Ate, which is, I think it means the crown. Ate, Malkuth, and even though I'm touching like my abdomen, no, top to bottom first.
I was just thinking, yeah, which way it was. Okay. That's
Ate, Malkuth. But Malkuth is actually the sphere at the feet. But I'm not. No.
Yeah.
Visualize. It's imagination, right? Ate Malkuth, which means the world. So the crown, the world. Ate Malkuth. Vegabora Vegadula Leolam.
Do you say it Leolam or Olam?
You know, a friend of mine has been doing this work for many years. And he says, don't let anybody tell you how to pronounce it.
Just pronounce it how it comes out. Yeah.
Because, yes, they're Hebrew words, but, nobody knows how a rabbi in Fez, Morocco was pronouncing it 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And somebody may have, oh, no, that's not where the accent, well, maybe they had a different, maybe they were, they weren't from Jerusalem. They were from Fez.
Regional differences.
So Ate Malkuth Vegabora Vegadula Leolam. Vegabora is the name for the red sphere here. It's the 5th sphere on the tree of life. One, count from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's associated with Mars, martial energy in astrology. And Bora is associated. The blue one is the blue one, and that's the left shoulder, and it's associated with Jupiter. So you have these, that's the cross. So source, material, world, martial energy, Jupiter energy balancing out. Leolam is, I think it really means kind of, it's a Hebrew word for the deal. The deal that we made, that's made between the Jewish people and humans and God. And Amen is basically, so be it. But there's a whole, that's the pattern. Ate Malkuth, Legaborav et Gedula Leolam. Fine. But it's really kind of deeper, and I mentioned this, I just want to mention it again, is that in astrology, if you look at a chart, a round modern astrology chart, you have the big bits in it is what divides the quarters on the chart. You have your ascendant descendant axis, the horizontal, and you have your nadir midheaven or midheaven nadir axis, the vertical. So that's what we're doing here with this, the vertical and the horizontal. And the idea in astrology that translates very well to this, I'm imagining this cross of you, I think would be the better word, not in, but of you, in you, is that, and in astrology, the ascendant descendant is seen as awareness. It's horizon to horizon when you were born, east to west. So it has to do with awareness, what we see in the world. The vertical is viewed as, the nadir is where we get our power from, and it goes into the earth, from the center of the earth. And so we have awareness and power, and midheaven is how we release our power into the world, or career. So hence, when we do, if there's a whole nother level to, this would be a good topic for personal meditation too, is about, well, what is that? And in myself, because what we're doing is we're looking at this cross symbol that kind of comes together in the upper, really the kind of the heart chakras here, but we're going to call it as coming together in the heart because we can, because it's about imagination. And so what we have is this awareness of our center, and this, just hold the whole Kabbalistic cross, patty cake, is about a self-awareness about one's connection to the spiritual realm, and it's coming together in the heart, which we'll find out is really important. So, what is next on that sheet? The Tree of Life, the 32 paths of wisdom, called the divine emanations. The first 10 are the holy Sephiroth. Then there are 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And these 22 letters are also the tarot major arcana. They're also associated with Atus, the abodes of Thoth, if you're into Egyptian stuff. And these 22 paths are associated with the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 7 planets, because it goes back to where Saturn was the end of it, and 3 elements: fire, water, and air. Because we don't include the element of earth in these paths, because that's already there on the bottom. So these are now, but which I haven't given you a note for, and this is what I'm going to ask you to remember, is, give me a marker for this one. Purple. Yeah. Let's go to the bottom of that sheet. The veils of negative existence. Well, that sounds cool. So we have this tree of life. It's the whole darn unseen universe on a map that we're going to learn to follow. But beyond that, there's 3 levels. The Ain, did I spell that right? Yeah. Ain soft. Ain soft. Or. Yeah. A-U-R. So these are called the veils of negative existence. This is what it might be in the Sanskrit. It might be similar to what is called the Akasha, the aethers. What is here called is actually called non-existence or nothingness on the top. Ain. I've got it down here as non-existence, negativity. It doesn't mean negativity as something being negative. It means negativity as things don't exist yet. And then comes the Ain Sof, which is translated here. It doesn't seem right, but we're going to go with this. Limitlessness. This is what limitlessness. And then the Ain Sof is the limitless light. So it is out of nothingness comes boom, the Ate, the Aheye, the source energy. So this is what we're starting with. And so you got this one with the scribbles on, and that's what we're going to look at now. So I know you can doodle on this one, or you can doodle on the other one, or you can just remember. But what we're doing, I'll just put this up here for this part of the process. I hope I don't make a mess. It's called, what we want to learn is called the lightning flash. The lightning flash is said to be the process of creation. So it describes hypothetically what happened. Well, I'm not a Big Bang follower, except for the show was funny, but I'm more thinking that the Big Bang is repetitive, that it's more like the in and out breath of Brahma than just one bang. It goes out, comes in, goes out, comes in, over millennia, billions and billions of years. So the idea here, though, is that this is the beginning part. This is the process of creation. But of course, repeatedly, all this stuff, it's about the macro and the micro. The macrocosm has a process of creation, and each human microcosm has a process of creation. And so when we describe this process of the creation of how source energy becomes matter in time, we're also describing a creative process where somebody has a feeling, and that eventually translates into a creative idea and a painting or a new recipe or anything that you were creating. So this process of creating goes through this lightning flash. And so here's the lightning flash. It starts in Kether, the crown, and on that sheet there's the god names too. So it's called Aheye, and that's the god name we use in the middle pillar exercise. So there's an energy, and the energy goes here first. This is called Chokmah, the sphere. As you don't have to, I could just tell you this, it's on the sheet. So Chokmah is, the god name is Jah, like if you're familiar with Rastafari, this is their top guy, Jah. Yeah. And what the idea is here, as also on that sheet, we've already done a middle pillar exercise, and we'll do that again today. Here's the middle pillar. This is called the left-hand path and the right-hand path. And masculine energy, feminine energy, balanced energy. So what we have here is this creative original spark, and the energy goes here first, which is Jah, which is Chokma, which is the top of the masculine pillar, which basically means it's just energy. It's giving that energy. So here we have energy, it then goes here, which gives the energy direction. This is just giving energy a oomph. And then the energy goes here to, yes, Vina. Vina is the top of the feminine pillar and is viewed as, in Wicca, this is the Lord and that's the lady, the god and the goddess. And where it's just, this is associated with Saturn, so now we're getting planets in here. These were beyond planets at that time. You know, I've seen a more modern kind of depictions which suggest that, well, that's Uranus and that's Neptune, what have you. Yeah, that's fun to play with, but this is the old deal. So interesting is that this is, however, the idea of limitation. This is just pure energy. Before, this is not the yin and yang. This is before duality. Before duality, we just have pure energy, source energy. Now we get into the yin and yang on this level. Masculine, feminine, energy expedited, and energy limited. So the idea here is almost that Binah, the top of the feminine pillar, Saturn, is the idea of Einstein's idea of curved space. That because there's a curve to space is why there's anything forms. That somehow that there has to be a limitation for energy to take a form. And that's the start of here. So this is viewed as the Great Mother, Lord, Lady, Great Mother, etc. So in secular or Kabbalah, this would be viewed as like the top goddess. See, this is Yah, this is, could be Hecate or Isis. So, but here's just the idea of limitation that's going to evolve eventually into the ability for things to take form. So here's our lightning flash. Boom. Boom. We go from, and then, oh, this is important too. Oh, this is cool. The abyss. Wow. So, in our work with this model and this map, there's sort of a warning. Well, are you sure you want to cross the abyss? Because there's this idea that if we cross the abyss and we get into the Godhead, or the feminine Godhead, or the masculine Godhead, or the source, pure energy, if your consciousness is getting in there, you could very well lose your self-identity and your personality. Because, well, maybe sometimes that's not a terrible idea, but if you're ready for it, but you want to be ready for it. There's checks and balances, though. We're not just going to take you on a meditation and you're going to come out goo goo gaga. There's a couple abysses actually. This is one. There's probably another one here, but on any of these boundaries, spiritual boundaries, there's what is there's I think a lovely term called the dweller on the threshold. Cool. The dweller on the threshold. And the dweller on the threshold is it part of ourselves? Is it an angel? Same diff. Is this guardian that's going to say, no, you don't want to go here. You're not ready, or or you'll get freaked out. Which is why, if you read look at all these weird YouTube videos about, oh, I've been a remote viewer for the government, and I saw that it's all just a big matrix machine. Well, no, that's because you work for the government and you're not spiritual enough to get up there. That's what happened. You met a dweller on the threshold that said, get lost. You don't come here. You didn't cut the mustard to get that perspective yet. So anyway, that's kind of the idea in the abyss. The lower part of the tree, these are called the supernals, the supreme spheres, Sephiroth. They're come from the limitless light. There's a spark of creation that is given some gusto and then shown its limitations and gives it direction. So we have three supernals, but and that the idea is that those are consciousness that's even kind of beyond, which I didn't mention last time, and it always bears repeating almost every time, that the point of this work is to achieve conversation, knowledge of and conversation with your holy guardian angel. That's the point of it all. It's not about chicks and cars. It's about your own spiritual self-development. The knowledge of it, and the theory here is, which I mentioned last time, doesn't hurt to mention this again, is that we all have a higher self. We are spiritual beings squished into this physical form to experience life. And but somewhere we primarily are this spiritual being. And the spiritual being it's been called the Oversoul by Jane Roberts in the Seth material. It's called the Reincarnating Monad by Blavatsky in Theocracy. It's called the HGA, or the Higher Holy Guardian Angel, in the Golden Dawn, or similar kind of stuff. But it's all the same idea that somewhere there's this spiritual being that decided, oh, I'm going to have a life as Dave through this family in this time. That they decide somewhere, I decided to take upon this incarnation. And that's the HGA, or reincarnating monad, or the oversoul, or the higher self that has doing that. So the theory here is that if we can have a little contact with our HGA, it's got all the answers. Every time in your life when you said, why me? It knows. So, now. So the lightning flash creates, the spheres were created initially through the lightning flash, but it is not just the origin of the material world. It's also when you successfully wrote that poem. That's the same energy. Wow. So what I'd like, oh yes, let's get into some of the meaty stuff now. Did you get the star?
No.
All right. Before we learn the supreme pentagram ritual, we gotta learn the lesser pentagram ritual.
Yep, I got 2 in case I miss another.
So, first of all, the pentagram. Is it an evil thing? No, it's a star. Stars aren't evil. But I can explain a little bit why it gained that connotation. But first of all, of course, I didn't bring that one. But everybody's seen that Leonardo da Vinci drawing of the human like this, and it's like it's amazing.
There's a similar one on the back of the door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that. And he's making a star.
Yeah.
Except, I don't know, the legs are weird there. 4 of them. So that, the star represents, but the 4 elements are going to come up over and over again. The 4 elements being fire, water, air, and earth. And we see these 4 elements in Native American spirituality, the 4 quarters over and over again. It does have to do with the 4 quarters. Now, did we figure out?
Due east is that way.
Due east is that
Due
east
east
is that way?
Yeah, because when I cleansed the store, we started in east.
All right.
East is that way.
All right.
Just so you know.
Okay, thanks. I believe you. I'll check it on my app, my compass app, some other time. So yes, so when we do ritual, we kind of want to have an idea which way is east. So east, south, west, and north. And even if we're a little off, it doesn't matter. It's called magical east then.
Get lost down the directions.
And so that's what the pentagram is showing. It's showing those 4 elements with the spirit, or the aethers being another element, the higher. So then on this, there's the 5 symbols, which you're going to probably see again and again, is that there's these handy little symbols for fire, water, air, and earth, and those are shown. The fire is just an upright equilateral triangle. Water is downward pointing triangle. Air is upward pointing triangle with the line through it. Earth, downward pointing triangle with the line through it. Spirit shown as a wheel. I've seen drawings with like 12, but I didn't have space for that. But it doesn't matter. We're not. When we're doing this, so this is a pentagram is used for cleansing or clearing a circle and for invoking. So you have your invoking to bring in energy, you have your banishing to send away energies. So that's the difference. Now, and then also on this is the air, east, God name, and archangel associated with that element and that direction. So what I'd like to do today is do this. And anybody want to try it? Next time, maybe?
Yeah, I'll try it.
Okay. We're going to, I'll give you a hand there. So we're going to actually do a circle with this. And we're going to start by, with kind of, I did see there was a little bit, I'm going to nip some sage from them here without sending off the fire alarm.
That was me last night.
Oh
At 2 in the morning in the house.
no!
Oh my god, I felt so bad. I'm like, you're trying to like, don't wake up anybody.
I got sweetgrass here, so that's cool.
In the reading room, there's an actual shell and feather and everything if you do that instead.
Do you want to just go grab it? Or do you want me to go grab it?
Oh, okay.
You wanna grab
You want
it?
to
Yeah,
read?
Yeah, because you know where it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If he's not doing a reading. I'll get one
Oh, I
off.
didn't even know there was the secret door.
I can see the drawing now with the weird legs.
Yeah. Sometimes it just looks like this one's standing behind them.
So, if
The feather disappeared, but I do have that.
oh, that's
It happens all the time.
Thanks.
It happens all the time.
I know.
Something I wanted.
Ghost kids playing tricks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
At least nobody's trying
Something
to
just
touch
escaped
this
me.
time. My husband was in here and went, yep, nope.
It can get really bad.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh. So, what are we doing here? 4 o'clock? Yikes. Okay. This is it. Yeah, I'll do, there's this, we haven't learned it yet. And, you know, there's 2 different types, you know, it's not necessarily in this Kabbalistic work, but there's a kind of the Wicca way of creating a circle is kind of simpler. And so I'm going to do a fancier one. And so what's going to happen, what I'd like to do with you guys is we're going to do a quick little, I'm going to walk around and do a quick little counterclockwise vanishing to kind of clear the space. And to that end, I have my little sage and there you go, your little sage. And these, notes on.
Did you place them on the board down there?
Yeah, yeah. Who knows?
No.
Yeah?
Oh, good.
There's just some papers on the.
Yeah, that's not it.
Okay.
I'll just borrow one of yours. There it is. And I'm just going to have to look at this because I always do the supreme invoking of the pentagrams now, and I rarely banish. It's just a personal kind of thing. Why do I want to send energies away? And it's kind of it's my personal plot to thin the veils. But for today, I'm going to light a candle. We're going to have a little circle, and my favorite is what I'll do, and it's a Kabbalistic circle, which is, I'm not just drawing a circle around us as a boundary and a protection and focus energies, but it's creating a sphere around us and calling in spiritual energy into that sphere. And the big power word in that protective sphere ritual is Hebrew for Jesus, Yahshua, Jehovah with a shin in the middle. And but it really doesn't have a lot to do with Jesus in the term we use, because what it's about is sort of that the heart chakra in everybody, which is also termed in secular occult work sometimes as Christ consciousness. And the whole idea of, if you read between the lines in the Gospels, is in everybody. So that's kind of the basis of that protective sphere. But we also have some Enochian, and there's Egyptian deities, and it's fun. So, but to that end, I just figured out, I hope it's, it just occurred to me, well, my altar could be the little trash can, but maybe that's a little facetious. So I'm just going to move the furniture. That's a bit cozy. There's our altar. Instead of the trash can, it's your footstool. Slightly better. You have that spray?
Yes.
We can use that too.
Okay.
All right. Archangel Blessings spray. Can't go bad. So, to this end. Now, generally, this is where your handy magic wand, that according to the Golden Dawn might be your lotus wand, which is, I have sort of one at home, which I didn't bring, but one of these days. And can be your finger. It can be a stick of incense, an athame, which is witchy for a knife that doesn't cut anything but air. And oh yeah, but we might as well touch on this too before we get going. Is of course, there's the whole reason that the reverse pentagram was considered not bad is because, well, it puts spirit below matter. When you turn it upside down, upside up, spirit's above matter, below matter. But it's not, if you really went. So on the surface, a simple explanation might go, ooh. But in actual Wicca, it's the whole symbol for the second degree. There's the first degree initiation, second degree, third degree. And the second degree is the symbol for that is a reverse pentagram. And it's not because it has to do with putting spirit below matter. It's because that's what it's about, is how is the awareness how spirit is in all matter. And we don't need to go look up at the starry sky or the brilliant sun or the blinding white light and say, well, that's spirit and the mud is matter. No, the spirit is in life, even if it's a mosquito. Spirit is in there. So that's the spirit into matter, is the idea of the reverse pentagram. So I'm just going to light the candle. I'm going to do kind of a quick lesser pentagrams around. I'm going to do what's called the rose cross ritual to create a circle around us. And then we're going to do another middle pillar for that. And it's always good to have an intention, but I think the intention is going to be pretty simple here. It's going to be about experiencing these energies and learning about and learning. That's our intention. However, just by setting up a temple, or there's this old they used to, whatever, 100 years ago or so, when the Masons would get together and they do ceremony, and everybody in attendance would have something to visualize. So if you had like 30 people, one person's job is to visualize a lit candle, or kind of some part of the room, some part of the temple, and whether it's a picture on the wall or kind of a statue of a deity or this or that. So everybody would have their little visualization role when they were creating this temple in their head. So the idea here is that when we get into a ritual or a temple, we're trying to not think about how we blew our budget, or that I didn't do my laundry, or etc., or the shopping list, or what have you. My relative is a nut, whatever. So we're not trying to not think about whatever. We're trying to think of the intention, and of course, as those of us that were here for that middle pillar exercise, there's a lot to think about when you're doing this middle pillar exercise. You're thinking about your breath and keeping your breath in this 4 square breath I'll describe again, and you're thinking about moving the energies with and having your imagination kind of do this kind of work while you're breathing correctly. And then if you still need something to think about, well, you can think about these bands of light that have been put around you for your protection and focus. You can start to, so everything that we create kind of in the astral with our movements and words. Of course, the idea is these movements and words have been going on for hundreds of years. And so we're able to kind of, by doing these traditional forms, we're able to tap in to those energies that are pre-existing on the astral and higher planes. Especially when you start to call in archangels, there's lots to think about. You can just, I wonder what Uriel looks like. Holy moly. So, should be lots for your consciousness to deal with that's positive, and that's about your protection and about the energizing of the process that can participate in. So that's kind of the idea there. So to that end, call that our statement of intention is to learn stuff and have a great time. To that end, let this temple be open. Hopefully this is, there we go. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. It's not going to be too messy. Oh yeah, a little Greek. Hekes estebebeloi, which is Greek for away all things that should be away. And just kind of once around. It's still going. Counterclockwise. Of course, whenever you're in temple, be that Wiccan or ceremonial magic, we ask that you move clockwise for bringing in energy and counterclockwise for vanishing. So hence that was counterclockwise with the sweetgrass. And it could be counterclockwise for these lesser pentagrams that we're going to do right now. Now, the thing with the lesser pentagram is they're all earth pentagrams. The banishing is a banishing of earth. The invoking is an invoking of earth. So it's on the earthly plane, however, as we'll see, that Malkuth on the Tree of Life, the bottom, foot one, sphere, is material world, but it's also material world and the astral kind of beginnings of the astral, the lower astral. It's all right there. So if we're perceiving something kind of on the astral, just in our waking day, that means that is also participating in earth. So, and another thing about this is these are, it's easy to remember if you've been doing it for 5 years, a few days or a week or whatever. So this vanishing pentagram, which is very simple, and I'll do one right here. We'll start. It's like earth, north, and go Agala, counterclockwise, Agala. So I just banished to the north. And you can do these if something spooky bothering you in your bedroom, you try to go to sleep, you do it in your head, away. It's seen as a test. And a lot of this work, it's suggested that Adonai, BTL. Jehovah. Okay, we will create a circle for this temple that we may have a clear and helpful and pure middle pillar exercise. To this end, I start in the, you don't need to memorize this stuff yet. There'll be a handout later. In every intersection, so I start here with the cross. It's called the rose cross. If you want to visualize something, it's a cross with a rose at the juncture. Yeshua. There. In this corner. Clockwise now. Yeshua. This corner. Yeshua. Yeshua. Back here, Yeshua now. Ceiling. Top arc. Yeshua. Yeshua. Bottom arc. Yeshua. 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 Yod He Shin Vav He. So around us now we have a ring around this way, a ring around that way, and a ring around that way. And to this end, Ayanarai Yod Nun Resh Yod, sign of Osiris slain. El, the sign of the morning of Isis. V, the sign of Typhon Apophis. X, the sign of Osiris risen. L, V, X, Lux, light, light of the cross. Virgo, Isis, mighty mother. Scorpio, Apophis, destroyer. Sol, Osiris, slain yet risen. Isis, Apophis, Osiris. Exape Okoema Nanta Bieteoem. May the divine light descend. Eheye Yorevahe Elohim Yorevahe Elovadat Shaddai Chayadoneha. That's may the divine light descend. Now invoking pentagrams. Air, earth in the east, Jehovah Raphael. South, fire, Adonai. Mikiel. West, water, Eheye, Gabriel, north, Agala, Uriel. Before me, Raphael. Behind me, Gabriel. To the right hand, Michael. To the left hand, Uriel. About us, flames the pentagram. In the column shines the six-rayed star. Ate Malkuth Vegabora Vegadula Leolam. As above, so below. Surama. Okay. So, hypothetically, we are now in a protected spiritual circle. And if you want to think of something, oh, I have a chair. Think of angels. Or a cross. Or I'll give you something to think about right now. So what we want to do is we want to sit up straight. Don't cross your arms or legs. We'll get down to it. So I will be vibrating, saying the Hebrew God names. There's a secular version as well. I'll throw that in as well. And but basically, we want to try to maintain something you continue to think about throughout is maintaining a relaxed 4 square breath. In the days of allergies, I'm not concerned about whether it's nose or mouth or this nostril or that nostril. It's just deep breaths. And develop your own, go slow and develop your own count of 4. And you want to breathe in to a count of 4, pause, not hold the breath, just pause for a count of 4. And exhale slowly for a count of 4 and pause for a count of 4. And this is our 4 square breath that we'll be coming back to a lot. In, count of 4, pause, count of 4, exhale, count of 4, pause, count of 4. Give that a couple goes. And while we're doing that, we're relaxing, sitting up straight, but relaxing the muscles. A little hint is maybe relax the jaw. Try to straighten the back, which is a trick for me too. Relax the jaw. The whole body will relax. 4 square breath. While we're doing this, we imagine an orb of white light atop the head. Like somewhere between a cantaloupe and a volleyball. But it's scintillating light, it's energized light. It's the pure source light. Before duality, the light atop the head, the source light. Its God name is Aheye, Aheye. Give it a breath or two while imagining that light atop your head, upon your head. Aheye. It's always good in any meditation, even if that meditation is grounding with roots into the earth. Start at the top. Start at reaching to higher energy. Aheye. Then allow that energy to come in through the top of your head. We didn't talk about this one yet, but form a lavender orb of light in your throat area. From white light atop the head to a lavender orb of light in the throat area. It is the light of our own upreaching, of the light being an extension to us individually. Its God name is Yehovah Elohim. Yehovah Elohim. The throat area. Lavender orb of light. Give it a couple breaths. Imagine light descending through the middle pillar in your body to form a yellow or golden yellow orb of light in the solar plexus, behind the solar plexus, heart. Consider this little sun inside yourself as the light, the sphere of unconditional love, your emotional intelligence, your heart intelligence. Its God name is Yehovah Elo Veda'ath. Yehovah Elo Veda'ath. And bring the light energy. Imagine the light energy descending to the groin area to form a purple orb of light, the light of life, astral light. His God name is Shaddai El Chai. Shaddai El Chai. Purple orb of light, light of life, Shaddai El Chai. From there, the light descends through the body to the feet to ground us with the earth, the sphere of Malkuth. Its color is russet, like a browny red russet. Its God name is Adonai Haaretz. Adonai Haaretz. Give that a breath or two. Adonai Haaretz. Russet orb at the feet, grounding us, grounding you. Adonai Haaretz. And on the in-breath, bring the attention back to the orb of light atop the head. On the exhale, imagine light energy coming down through the left side of the body to the feet. Pause. And on the in-breath, bring the light energy up from the feet through the right leg, through the right side of the body to the top of the head on the inhale. Exhale light energy down through the left with your imagination. Inhale light energy up through the right. Couple more. On an exhale, when you're at the top sphere with your energy, shift it up, bring the light energy down over the face, through the front of the body. On the exhale, inhale light energy up from the feet, along the calves, along the back of the body, to the top of the head. Exhale light energy down over the front of the body. Inhale light energy up along the back of the body. Now on an inhale, collect light energy at the feet. And on the exhale, release the light energy up through the middle pillar, through your body, through the top of your head, and imagine it fountain down around and through you as you exhale. Inhale, collect the light energy at the feet. Exhale, bring the light energy up through the body, through the chakras, through the top of your head. If you feel any resistance of the energy going up through you, imagine the light energy atop the top sphere, top chakra, as pulling it up through you from your feet on the exhale. Couple more, one more. It's feeling. Collect light energy on the inhale of the feet and launch the light energy up through yourself to fountain down around on the exhale. Okay, thank you. And that's it. That's that middle pillar. So I hope you kind of find that interesting because it's going to be part of almost everything. And we're still in tempo. So just to mention that in what is called, a lot of this is going to be about what's called in the Golden Dawn work and the Servants of the Light and other groups like that is called path working. And as we found out, the Tree of Life is our 32 paths of wisdom. So what we're going to want to do is eventually travel all the paths. And if we don't get them all done in this context of class, well, do some at home. But, and as I said, I wanted to mention this, and I did almost, but my teacher always reminded me, yes, well, always start at the higher energy. You know, even if you're doing a Wiccan thing and kind of you're standing around in a circle and you're imagining roots coming out of your feet, grounding you into the earth as a way to kind of get rid of negativity, it's going to be transmuted and transformed by the fires of the earth. And it's therapeutic, for sure. But even then, start up here. It's just recommended. The only reason I'm doing this is because probably. it's always good to start up top. And but we're probably not, we start up top in individual meditations, but it's really going to be what we're going to do maybe as soon as in 2 weeks is start with do a formal temple Malkuth on the spiritual earth. And and then make our way up through the spheres. And then, once we've done 10 spheres, then we start doing the paths between them. And the paths between them there equate to the 22 Hebrew letters and the 22 major arcana in the tarot. So way down here we have 21. The universe or the world card connects the world with the astral. And so we'll be looking to experience that. But then, of course, comes that provide that little kind of. But we're going to do it in a protected circle. So, but that doesn't mean you won't run into kind of stuff that's because it's about your own stuff. It's a lot of, like, I think I mentioned this last time, but back when even the turn of the previous century, when the Golden Dawn was percolating and people had this whole kind of organization for this stuff, and who knows where that came from. I mean, Levi was another occultist at the time, but I think he was writing in Paris in kind of like the 1870s. And of course, as I said, John Dee was creating this whole system to talk to angels in 1585. So, but way back then, there wasn't such a thing as psychology or psychiatry. That's pretty modern kind of stuff with Freud and Jung and like 19 whatever 10 or whatever. So actually kind of going through the paths on the tree and the lower Sephiroth of Earth, the moon. I'll give you more notes. There'll be more notes. The Earth, the moon, Venus, Mercury, Sun, all these stuff. So the Sun is here. It's what we're talking about as Christ consciousness, as unconditional love, as and if you get in that handout, this is where we can start to connect to our higher selves. You have to be in your heart to connect to your higher self. This is all the mind stuff. I got it all figured out. Doesn't mean you made it here yet. And that's why, I mean, a lot of people are, that my little joke, I better close the temple before I start telling jokes. This is casual. Okay. We thank the intelligences and angelic energies who were called and drawn to this ceremony and bid the adieu and stay if you will, go if you must. Blessed be. The temple be closed. There we go. So, my little joke is, well, if you want to get really good at being a ceremonial magician, and you want to have all these kind of abilities to kind of see beyond the veil and talk to your higher self and blah blah blah, all that great stuff. Well, you got to learn a little Hebrew, a bunch of Hebrew, maybe some Greek, some Latin, some Enochian channeled from 1585. Some, there's stuff called gematria. You probably want to learn at least some alchemy terms and theory. You're going to want to learn some astrology and tarot and all this stuff. There's this whole gematria system where there's the Hebrew letters line up with numbers, and you can do math with written words, and oh goodness, it's so complicated. And make talismans with these super secret sigils that you have to kind of know how to make, and well, you might get to talk to your higher self. You might get some enlightenment, or you could be an illiterate witch or shaman and get enlightened. So, it doesn't have to be so intellectual. Enlightenment isn't about a download of facts and knowledge per se. It's about an experience of spirit. And so everybody's going to have their own path to that. And it isn't necessary, you don't necessarily have to learn Latin, gematria. But it might be fun to make a talisman. I'm willing to do that. And yeah, that was my joke. That's okay. And then there's another thing we could get into. We'll get, maybe if you want to stick around. Is it's like 10 to 5. Anyway. I'll just open the door so Skylar doesn't get nervous. I'm gonna have to stay. Great.